Hi guys, happy Friday. I hope everyone had a peaceful week, a peaceful day. That you are breathing and spending time just regrouping a little bit more. Enjoying the perfection of what is. Everything is always happening perfectly. Our mind always wants to misperceive it as something, Hayat Maram, I love you, as something other than being perfect. And every moment's always happening perfectly for our highest good and for our soul growth. And a lot of times we get so wrapped up into the mind stuff of judgment and fear, and being able to step away from it and come back to that place where we are taken care of and everything's unfolding perfectly. We don't see the outcome of the long picture. We can only see in this moment of what's occurring. In this moment, everything's perfect. And in the next moment, everything will be perfect. And if we just hold space, and I think everyone has some kind of spiritual practice, and perhaps we don't. Hi Corinne, hi Amy. Perhaps we don't call it a spiritual practice. Our spiritual practice could be taking a walk in the woods, or maybe playing with our animal, washing dishes. The saying is, before enlightenment, chopping wood and carrying water. After enlightenment, chopping wood and carrying water. Our life doesn't change once we become awakened to the truth of who we are. And it's coming back to each and every moment and keeping our peace. I had someone, my friend Silvio, ask me today he wanted to get my opinion of how to keep an open heart during these chaotic and fearful times. And I know for me, I will share a little story. A few years ago, I was having some financial problems after Mike gave me the blessing and gift of leaving his body. And I rented 2 rooms in this home that I live in. One of the people, as he had lived here for a little while, he was having some problems, and I had to ask him to leave. Hi, Silvio. And so in asking him to leave, he became very escalated and left me threatening notes and then signed them namaste, and kind of passive-aggressive a little bit. And so the day he was moving, he said he wasn't going to cause any harm. And so I was pulling in when he was pulling out of the driveway. And I came in the house, and he had caused $5,000 worth of damage by breaking apart the whole house and vandalizing the house. And I had to teach yoga in about 15 minutes after that. So I shut the door and went to the car and did some deep breathing and a little bit of mantra as I drove to the yoga studio. And I left all of that fear and that hurt in the car, and I went in and taught the class. And I think if we can, and I could have let fear and anger take over me. I did come home and call the police, but I didn't want to press charges because he was suffering, because only someone that's suffering themselves can cause harm to another being. And I think right now, many of us want to shut down and become angry and frustrated, and then get in that cycle of, how am I fearful? I'm afraid something's going to happen to me. But ultimately, fear is doing something worse than probably anything else. Fear is taking your peace away. Fear harms your physical body, your temple. Fear does all these things to you that it's not beneficial. If we look and see, is that being benefit to us? How can I? And then we begin to vibrate at a low energy. And right now we all need to do our practices and lean on those practices to vibrate higher. And I think that's the key. And we all have practices, and as I was talking before, some of you came on Facebook here with me and joined me, and I'm so blessed that you're joining me this evening. It doesn't have to be a formal sitting practice. I know for some people, and that's why I just, at the end of my Facebook Live, have a 2-minute meditation, perhaps. Hi, Hannah Madas. So I think that's getting back to that. And I've noticed on Facebook, people are still posting negative things. And I think it's time to stop doing that and let's post positive things. Let's not allow fear to overtake our world. It's more important now than ever to be that light, to have an open heart. And there's times that it might be scary and difficult, but then we let our ego win. And I think, breathing is a great thing. If you can sit and breathe when things get scary. I had a beautiful friend last night post to me that suffers from anxiety, and we had a little discussion last night. And as he was discussing that, he said, reading my posts and seeing what I've been through physically the past 15 months, which has all been a beautiful gift to me, is he made friends with his anxiety and he began to embrace it. And he said when he began to love it and appreciate it, it started not to be there anymore. So I think we have to honor that, but then let it go. And the times where our hearts want to close down, because we're going to be exposed to things, we're going to see things, but we have to fight to keep that open. We have to see the good. I was posting, and there's been a lot of negative things and that people are posting, and I do step in, and I occasionally say I'm stepping in a place of love. And just even today, every person on this planet, we all look at the same moon. We all breathe the same air. I'm gonna cry. We all want happiness. We all want peace. And maybe a lot of us, we don't know no one knows, and everyone's doing the best they can. If I could do better, I would do better. People, we talk of dark nights of the soul, and perhaps this is our country's dark night of the soul. I reflect a lot on, maybe this is our country's karma as we look. I hate to say that because some people might get offended. Sorry, egos. I'm going to shake you up a little bit. But if you really look at what our country's focused on, it is Mickey, it's beautiful moon tonight. Reflect on what we've put our emphasis on the past few years of, the new iPhone's coming out. Let's get in line for hours for an iPhone, or let's spend the most money on whatever. We need the best things. And we've lost the human interconnectedness of seeing yourself in someone else and seeing that light that everyone has, and everyone is a beautiful, beautiful light. And so when we're stressed, sitting and breathing, you can't deep breathe and be anxious. That's, if you sit and focus on your breath, you're not going to be anxious. You're not going to be afraid. And then surrounding yourself with loving people and surrounding yourself with loving things. I actually had a dear friend who disconnected their Facebook account today because people were starting to post positive things and they wanted to be stuck in that. And I think a lot of us are so comfortable in our suffering and so comfortable in our discomfort, and we don't know how to be any other way, and we like that feeling of being stuck, that stuckedness of that. So I think if you ponder deeper of what are you getting from that feeling of negativity, and how can you let that go and begin to shift it into something else? I've been through a lot the past 3 years, and it's been a beautiful, beautiful journey for me of losing everything to gain everything, and just, and there was a lot of fear involved. I'm not going to say, when Mike suddenly left his body, that wasn't a fearful situation, but I leaned on my spiritual practices, and I leaned on the things that I know do work over time, meditation, even a walk in the park, grounding yourself every day. It's so important now for self-care. Go for a walk in the park. Do small things every day that are going to shift yourself away from this mind stuff, to get out of your mind. And do make a difference. Stop posting the negative things on Facebook. Stop surrounding yourself with those things. The mass unconsciousness, a lot of that is just false information to make us more fearful. Yes, Silvio, see, that breathing thing does always work. It's always going to work. My guru, Swami Satchidananda, said, you can't be angry if you're deep breathing. You can't be afraid. Just focus on that every single day. Breathe in, breathe out. And even if your mind's racing at the beginning, say, I'm inhaling now, I'm exhaling now. Spending time with animals. And I think being of service every single day. I think the more we shine our lights and we refuse to go to the dark, refuse, and keep going to the light, keep doing things for other people, keep seeing the good in everybody. We can't, if you go up to, I saw someone who voted for the candidate that I didn't vote today, and they were having their hat on their leg with their candidate slogan, and I looked at the person. He didn't look like a monster. He was sitting there very peacefully reading a book. We can't judge. Everyone is doing the best they can, and I know that. I know that without a doubt. You're doing the best you can. I'm doing the best I can. We can reflect later on and say, "Whoa, I shouldn't have maybe done that, or I'd do that differently now." And we need to be those beacons of light in every moment. I don't know, does anyone want to say anything or ask anything or share anything? I want to set up a weekly conference call. I know some people wanted to do a conference call type thing with me, and so I would like to do that and start creating bigger online satsang, because I think that's important now as we begin to move forward in this new dark night of the soul of the country and the world. And I think it's a beautiful opportunity for all of us to shift and grow and to use our practices and use our lights and our gifts that we were sent here to do, and to teach other people not to fear and stand up for each other. And I'm encouraging everyone to wear their safety pin. I have mine on. I don't know if you can see it. But I would like to do my reading for the day, and then we'll meditate for a couple minutes, and then if anyone wants to say anything or ask anything or talk about anything, I would love to. The reading for today is, It's All God's Will. Oh, can you speak more about being this karma for the country? Okay, yes, I will before I do my reading. I would say I pretty much know, and that we've, a lot of time, if we look at the mass consciousness of what's been going on for so long with the whole, I'm out for me, you're out for you, not me and you per se, but, the bigger consciousness, I'm out for you, you're out for me. We don't put each other, we don't value each other, we put our value in things, the value on money, experiences, going outward, and not being of service. And there's a lot of fear. And if you're successful, that's taking away from me. If I have something, I need to protect it, because you might come in. But there's enough abundance for everyone. There's enough love for everyone. There's enough light for everyone. And, kids, when they come into this world, are not programmed with the I, me, mine. That's something that comes later on. If you look, little kids are very sharing and very kind and compassion. And so I think that's where, if we get rid of that I, me, mine and begin to see and it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot. I thought when the recession happened a few years ago, there might have been a bigger shift in that whole thing of not being so centered on the illusion, and this is all an illusion, and I always talk about everything just is, and we decide if it's a positive or a negative thing, because in reality, everything just is. Mickey, one thought I hear from friends who still are negative is that injustice must be countered actively. Yes, it can, but it can be, I think, though, we can do it in a peaceful way. And I think keeping our vibration high right now, and I've been reading that from other people that are on a spiritual path too, is I'm noticing a lot of people that are the most negative on Facebook, and I hate to say it, are the spiritual people I know and are saying crazy things and getting so angry. And I think we're people that have a spiritual practice should be able to, I would hope, after begin to lean on those things and not get sucked into that illusion, or if you're getting sucked into it, come back more quickly to the center of who we are and know that everything just is. And yeah, we can counter it actively, but can we do it in a peaceful way, or can we do it by throwing up all over Facebook and sharing negativity? And I think that's where we need to find that balance of, like I posted about the thing at the middle school, okay? There was an injustice there at the middle school. Let's, instead of posting it and complaining about it, let's volunteer to go and be at the middle school and be light bearers. Missing my son. Amy, I'm reading yours. Missing my son and heard he's having a hard time. Time's faith, trying to place my fear and anxiety and trying to keep calm as possible. And trying to keep calm as possible. Maybe. Thank you, Amy. And I'm here day or night, and I know it's hard when that separation of when you have someone that you love not be with you. And I know without a doubt he loves you, and I think if you let him, keep sending love to him day and night and day and night and day and night and day and night, and you just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it, and he's going to feel it, and he's going to feel your love, and he will reach out to you. I have no doubts he's going to reach out to you, and I know he loves you too, and he's a teenager, and that's really, they're mean, they're not. They're not always so nice, but just keep hanging on to that. And when you get to that fear place, breathe. And just breathe and breathe and breathe and know you're a good mom. And know that, you're doing the best you can, and he will. He's going to, I know. And it might take, there's no time and space are an illusion anyway, so keep hanging on to that. Let's go back. Yeah, so Sylvia, yes, we have to keep our vibration, and I loved what you posted earlier today about changing certain symbols into Google Windows things. We can keep doing these things. That's what we have to do. That's an active role. That's taking a positive approach to, instead of getting the opposite way, just change it into something else. And I think looking at people, my practice that I teach all the time is looking at people and saying silently, I love you. And if you're doing that with every person, no one's going to harm you because you're sending that vibration. If your vibration is lower, it's going to be, vibrations attract vibration. So if your vibration's high, then you're going to be attracting a higher energy into your energy field. So I think that's important. So keep it high, and anyone who has, put positive thing. I'm sorry if people want to leave Facebook because you're posting positive things, and people can leave Facebook because you're posting positive things. I think that's what's important. And Mickey, you're right. I thought the recession would change things, but it did for some of us. But I think if most of us look around our house, that we're still probably have stuff, an excess of stuff. I do not. My house is I made it a point of getting rid of almost everything except my spiritual things. And, but I think, we have to be the light bearers. Go volunteer at a school and do those things and keep our light shining brighter. And Corinne, yes, there is a swirl of emotions, and I was privileged this evening to teach a yoga class at Detroit Athletic Club, which is an affluent place downtown. And I was wondering how people would be acting down there, because I don't really care about people's political views or anything else. I care about soul. I communicate on a soul level. But it was interesting. After my class, I had 3 ladies this evening, and one of them stayed after class, and she said, she goes, "This is the first time I felt calm with your energy this whole week." And she said, "It's been a very hard week." And I think we all have had a hard week, no matter where we are on the political spectrum. But I think if we keep going back to our practices and know it's our time, we have to show up and we have to be light. It's go time. It's go time. Why do we have these practices if we're not going to use them? I can sit and chant my chants all day long, or meditate for hours on end, but when I need to go out in the world, and we eventually have to throw all our practices away. All the masters say that. I was reflecting today as I was driving to one of my many, many doctor's appointments that I've gone to over the past 15 months. Looks like I'll be going for a lot longer, and that's beautiful as well. But earlier today on this day on Facebook, I had posted a year ago. Today was when I found out my neurologist had actually met my guru, and my guru was in his body, Swami Satchidananda. And in that moment, there was Guru's grace. I knew my guru had me go to my doctor that he had me go to, and I was reflecting also on so I've been very blessed to spend time with a lot of swamis and enlightened masters and such in this incarnation, and I was reflecting on the swami that I had tea with maybe 6 months ago, and his talking to me about, he thought when we met for tea, and I've probably written about this on Facebook, because I'd asked him to sit with him and talk to him. He said, "I thought that I was going to him for advice." And he looked at me and he said, that's not how it's playing out. And he was actually asking me for advice, and if he should leave being a swami or whatever, and things like that. And part of the thing he did say is there was a reason that Mike left his body, and because, when you're in a relationship with someone, all your focus is on that one person, and our love often, and my mission, I guess, in this incarnation is to share my love with more than just one person. So there's gifts in everything. And even when I was with Radhanath Swami, I think it was in May, at the Shivananda ashram, me and him talked, and he had come up to me when I was sitting on a bench, and I had told him about Mike dying 3 years ago, and then this beautiful karmic event that I call my car accident, and he started crying. And then the next morning, he said, "You've been through so much." And I said to him, "This is the best 3 years that have ever happened, and I wouldn't change a moment." And we talked a little bit longer. And then the next morning, he came up to me and he said, "I've been thinking about what you said." And he goes, "I'm so sorry your life's been so hard." And I said, there's no amount of suffering that I am not willing to endure to help everyone else become awakened. And I think that's what happens, and Muji was discussing it the other day in one of his online satsangs, is when you get to that place of you're compelled, you don't have any other choice but to want to free everybody else. And that's why I think, now more than ever, that's my mission. And one of my friends the other day, because I have a lot of Shakti and I can give Shakti pot, I just choose not to. He goes, I think you should just go around giving everyone Shakti pots so they can awaken faster. I said, but with that comes a lot of responsibility. And if you don't know what Shakti pot is, you probably think I'm crazy right now, but we can talk about that on another night. But so I think, how can we all awaken quicker? And, it's accessible to anyone. And yes, tomorrow we have to stay positive more than ever. And I think that's, you were always positive on Facebook. And I think those are our things. And I keep jumping in. Someone's mentioned that Kali may have had a hand in a recent election. How do you feel about that? It's interesting you say that, because we're in the Kali Yuga age, and it's the age of darkness, according to Hinduism. And she is, I think I'll go back to the day of my karmic event, because Kali and Shiva are consorts of each other, and she was my boy, and he's all about destruction and change. But you know what? I think, things did need to change, and things needed to be shaken up, because we kept doing the same thing over and over and over again. And, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And I think, Kali did come in and shake things up, and, how could that not be so? I mean, really, I think change. Hi, Chrissy. I think that's, Kali's great. She's not scary. I think we just needed to really shake things up. When I'm taking a wait and see attitude. I don't think everything's going to be all as scary and terrible as it is. But you know what? I choose to see things in a different way. I choose to see everyone as perfect and whole. I love you too, my dear. And I see everyone as happy and healthy, and I refuse to see anyone in a different way. And I think if we all can see that, and I know Ram Dass speaks of, I don't know if I discussed this before, but Ram Dass speaks of when he's having problems with someone, putting a picture of them on his altar, because these are our teachers. We can look at the people that we might not like, we might be judging, and that's our teacher then. And if we use that person as our teacher, that would be a beautiful, beautiful thing that we could do. I don't have anyone on my altar but my gurus, because I don't judge anyone. But, we're all works in progress. Anyone else have anything to say? But I do think it is waking us up to our illusions, because I think we've been so stuck in the mass unconsciousness is what I call it. And I still think watching the news is mass unconsciousness. And I think that's, we have to away from that, because a lot of stuff that the media is portraying is not actually accurate. It's fear-based. And I think we have to start, if you're not witnessing it yourself, then is it really happening? I don't know. And if we don't have the eyes to see, can we, and the ears to hear, or even are we seeing, we're just seeing through our perception. Does anyone else have anything they want to talk about? Anybody? Should I do my reading, and then if someone else wants to say something, I would love to have them say something. And happy Veterans Day. Sylvia, I'm here for the long haul. The Vedic astrologer, and I've been very resistant. My friends have called me the reluctant awakened person. I have fought that day and night for years, and because I've lost a lot of friends because of what happened to me spiritually. That is beautiful. You are the president of your soul. You really are. And I love when people, and this cracked me up today, and before I go to my reading, about today, as I was, not my president. Well, I'm like, good, because you know what? One of my things that I know to be true is my, me, and my, I, me, I, me, mine. Shouldn't be using those words anyways. So, good. It's the president. We don't own the president anyways. We don't own people. That's one of my favorite things to say. But yeah, we are responsible for ourselves. We're responsible for how we show up. We can't control how anyone else shows up. We can control how we react to them, and come from that place of love and light in every moment. And, you know, as the Vedic astrologer told me in February, that I was going to have to start teaching and leading trips and doing all these things, and I looked at him and I said, me? I have a brain injury here and can barely move. I can't move my neck. But he said, yes. He said, it's really time for you to teach. He goes, you started to become awakened, and he said the date's October 2011, and finished the process the end of August, beginning of September 2015. And so that's why my bigger work is now, and I've been playing small and kind of holding back because of things that, you know, it's not always easy to do that, but now the time is right and perfect. Shakti Pat. Shakti is Kundalini energy, and it's actually powerful spiritual energy. And they say when it becomes awakened, or when it becomes awakened in yourself, and I don't know, some people have it where, and I will get like really a lot of spiritual energy and be shaking and such. And it's, if you receive that from someone, you will become awakened in this lifetime. That's the masters say. And I met my guru when I was 4 years old and received blessing from him. And I've spent time with Saint Keshavadas and Swami Satchidananda and Kempo Kartha Rinpoche and Radhanath Swami and many other swamis and spiritual masters. And I've been very blessed and studied many paths, and it's just been an interesting path for me. So Shakti is a divine spiritual energy, Shiva Shakti, and it's the energy that starts at the base of your spine and works its way up and eventually comes out of your crown. It is beautiful to share with people, but it's interesting because it comes with, then you're spiritually responsible for that person. And for me, that's something that, you know, I feel spiritually responsible for my soul family, and I just don't want to just give that to someone who may not be ready. But I went to a festival this summer, Love Light Festival, and a lady I give you a virtual kiss and hug too, Chrissy. So, you know, she channeled Kali, actually, when she was giving Shakti Pat. She was one of Muktananda's, was her guru, and still is her guru, obviously, and it was interesting to see that. And so that was something I was thinking that, you know, if people are interested in Shakti Pat, but I would like to have one-to-one meetings with them and study with them and make sure that that's something that would be appropriate for them at that moment, and work with them because there's a lot of responsibility with that. Anyone else have anything to say before we read and meditate? Happy Veterans Day if I didn't say that yet. Thanks to everyone who's taking care of us. All right, I'll read, and then if anyone wants to say anything, I know typing's slow, that's why I want to do conference calls, and I like some people's opinions on day or time that works for them, because I'm willing to even 1 week do it one time, the next week do it a different time, and play around with that and see how it works. So the reading for today is, it's all God's will. Question: often we willfully break the commandments of the scriptures. How can this be God's will? Sri Gurudev: it is all God's will. It is God's will that you ask me this question, and it's God's will that is going to answer you. Ultimately, that is the truth. Nothing happens without God's will. All the Holy Scriptures say that, but when will you realize it? When you go ahead and do certain things as your will and learn the lessons from the consequences, then you say, well, I tried to use my will. Now I realize that it's all God's will ultimately. For people that have issues with God as a word, and I know some people might feel uncomfortable with that because traditional religion comes with a lot of man-made rules that aren't necessarily great for us, but everything's already, all the sages and masters, and I'll keep saying that, everything's already been written. It's just how we react to the situation. So if it's all for our highest good, because everything's always happening for our highest good, and our highest good is not what our ego thinks is good. It's what our soul needs to grow and expand. So all this is happening right now for our souls to grow, so we should be embracing these beautiful times instead of being afraid, because we're taken care of. We're always taken care of. Does anyone else have anything else to say this evening before we meditate? Okay, let's close our eyes and find a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you this evening. Closing your eyes, take a deep inhale through your nose. Exhale out your mouth. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Exhale out your mouth. If you have a mantra, going to your mantra could be just Om, peace, or love. Or just saying, I'm inhaling now, I'm exhaling now. And if your mind starts to wander, coming back to any of those practices, or just using your mantra the whole time. Allowing thoughts to appear, not getting attached to them, letting them float by like clouds. Taking a few moments to send some healing light and love to someone in need. If you'd like to join in one closing Om, taking a deep inhale. And I'm going to encourage everyone who perhaps would like a mantra to use Om Namah Shivaya, as I was told to encourage people to use that. And another mantra right now is perfect for the times that we're in, is the Gayatri mantra. And I will post that online after this. It's a beautiful mantra for people around in Michigan, or even people not in Michigan, Thanksgiving, if you don't have any place to go, I'm inviting you to come here. And even if you live far away and you want to come, let me know. I don't have a lot of furniture. You can crash in the living room. So let me know. Does anyone else have anything to say this evening? All right. You are love. You are light. You are perfection and bliss. Keep your peace. Hi, Chris Petrovs. I love you. Keep your peace. Keep smiling. Keep shining your light. We're not going to live in fear. We're going to rise above that. We're going to know we don't have the eyes to see perhaps the greater good in everything that's going on. And we've got this. I love you too, my Silvio. I'm here. So glad to have you a part of my world. Om Namah Shivaya. Love, light, perfection, and bliss. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I love you. I will be here tomorrow evening. I'm not sure what time yet. I will post tomorrow. If I can be of service in the meantime, please reach out. Anyone else have anything to say before we end our evening together? All right. Have a good night. I love you all so much. I am so honored that you're sharing my love with me. I love you, Mickey. Thank you for being a part of my world. Thank you all. You make my day, my life so happy. I'm so blessed. And I think we're creating a great community together. Go out and shine your light. No more posting negative things on Facebook. Let's blow up Facebook with positive things and positive energy and be the change that we want to see in the world. Have a good night. I'll be here tomorrow. I love you. In the meantime, if I can be of service, please reach out. I'm here day or night. Have a good night. I love you, Amy. You're welcome. Bye, guys. Oh, Kelsey, hi. I would say hi and bye. Please watch after. It'll replay. I'll repost it, but I will be here tomorrow evening as well, and every evening for the rest of however long I'm supposed to. And I will post about our weekly phone calls. I have to figure out how to do a conference call, and we'll go from there. But in the meantime, Kelsey, I love you. Have a beautiful night. Namaste. As Krishna Das says, namaste. Now go away. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.